Hey folks, I just wanted to show a quick breakdown of the concepts I was talking about when placing your DbScale relative to your meter. A few people have had issues figuring this step out, so this video is going to break that process down. Apologize for the background noise. I don't have any of my microphone stuff here. It's all in storage, so apologies for the noise reflections you're hearing and any background noise you're hearing outside. Okay, so basically what needs to happen, I'm not going to break down this code because that's your issue to figure it out. And I explain how to position this in the project issue itself. So basically what I've got here on the left, this is my meter. This thing on the right is my DbScale. If I adjust this, you can see that the numbers are being drawn in the DbScale, but they line up with the meter. They're able to follow it, okay? So the way this works is, and I say this in the instructions, basically you define the position of all of these ticks relative to your meter. For instance, let me change the size of this. I'll do juice live constant. Well, that was 200, so I'm going to show how this can change dynamically with that juice live constant thing. Let me redo this real quick. Recompile. Give me a second. Let's wait for this to run. Why isn't this not running? Stop. Rerun. Okay, so I've got my two things. So I can change the Y position with this slider. I can also change the size of my meter with this slider. Okay, so basically what you've got going on is when you position this meter, you're gonna define all of the Y positions in that meter class for all of the positions where these dB marks go. Then before you define where your DbScale goes, you're gonna pass that information over to the DbScale because it's a separate component. Let me pull this back up. Then, so you're computing all of these Y positions in the meter when you resize the meter, and then you're gonna pass those over to the DbScale, and then when you paint your DbScale, you're going to draw these Y positions offset by whatever this distance here is. You can see that, like, let's see, that 12 is, the meter has a Y position of 54. So that's being added to where the first tick, which is 12, is at. So if you know that the top of your meter is your maximum decibel limit, then that's what's going on there, okay? So I hope that explains the whole process. The idea is you define your meter, or you set your meter bounds, and then when you, in your meter resized function, that's where you define the, you define where all of these ticks actually live. Then, let me get this over here. Once you've done that, you pass that over to your DbScale before you paint your DbScale. Now, if you remember, it always goes, the resized function gets called first, and then the component after it has its bounding box, it gets painted, okay? So you can kind of see where I'm hinting it here. The meter is given its bounding box. It computes the ticks inside that resized function for it. It passes that information over to the DbScale, and then the DbScale has its bounding box set, and when the DbScale paints itself, it uses those tick positions and the meter's Y position to figure out where to draw those ticks, okay? So that's what you have to figure out how to do when you do your, when you do the issue of making your DbScale and make it line up with your meter, okay? All right, hope that is helpful, and feel free to send me any questions with regarding this particular issue in the project.